Something really big in the works here. So if you want to learn more, go to thetexasrepublic.com. And if you live in Texas, sign up to be a Texian. I just signed up to be a Texian here recently. I sent in my affidavit. Another gentleman who is now a Texian is this man, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Chambers. Please help me welcome him.
Fellow citizens and compatriots, we are besieged on all sides by an enemy of darkness, principalities, rulers of darkness, so they think, and we're here as a remnant. We came here from Texas. I drove with my dog. You might have seen him. He's a little busted up, so am I. I came in this army, or I'm out now. I'm in the army of God now. Ephesians 6, you know that armor? It's a lot better than other body armor. It's too hot. In 1983, I came in the Army under Ronald Reagan. In 2022, I left the Army under this regime. Lots changed. But the heart of a warrior has not changed. There's some in this room. You see them in the back. There's some amongst you. President Ford. He's a warrior. He doesn't talk about it. Sometimes we get in the way of stuff that's moving fast downrange. Sometimes it takes us out, sometimes it doesn't. But this body right here, this vessel, it never dies if you're part of the remnant. It never dies. It doesn't. It took me a long time to figure out the truest virtue of a warrior, a long time. I started out as a grunt, carried a rifle, dug a hole, learned how to jump out of a plane. It doesn't require a lot of intelligence for that, but it requires physical courage. There's something else. Army value number 7 is personal courage. That's a lot harder. I promise you. When this COVID thing came, this attack on this country, 5th generation warfare, when it showed up, it was part of a line of effort to take out this country from the inside. A part, a very small part. We're seeing all the other ones come to fruition. Economics, our infrastructure, our oil, our food. Grow food, by the way, yourselves. When we saw this come to fruition, and my job in the state of Texas as a National Guardsman, I got out of active duty 2015, went to the National Guard in Texas. Proudest job I ever had, protecting that southern border for almost 2 years. But when COVID came along, and I saw through the facade, because it was easy to see if you understand unconventional warfare. One of my jobs when I was in the military was, well, a couple of them. I guess if you stay in long enough, they'll let you do a lot of things. I wore a funny little green hat, stayed out, way out in the middle of nowhere for long periods of time and trained people to defend their own countries, foreign and internal defense and unconventional warfare. And then I became a doctor along the way because I was bored. So I went to medical school, became a flight surgeon, and I took care of those same Green Berets that I used to be. I'm going to tell you the best people in the world. I took care of the SEALs too in this war. In that war, that was downrange. In this war, and I'm going to explain this, SEALs versus Lloyd Austin, Matt Staver, Liberty Counsel, we had a case. I had to become a whistleblower in order to get to that case. I had to have Senator Johnson write a letter. You know how much stuff I had on the internet before I was a whistleblower? That much. Now, I can't hide. Don't want to hide. Not scared. But we're just telling truths here, and truth is truth. And now, this was supposed to be a border brief talking from D.C. to whatever, the border, but in a SITREP, situation report. This is a situation report of the heart. People ask me, number one question when I'm on a talk show or something, where's the military in all of this? I'm going to tell you where they're at. We're still here. We're still here. You need to know that there is fierce resolve. They may be confused. There may be some that have some cowardice in their hearts. There may be some bad actors. I got 2 generals fired in the state of Texas. I did it myself. You know how? Not because of me, because of him. Telling the truth. I didn't do it. I told the truth. And the truth set them free from the people of Texas so they didn't ruin any more of them. That's what happened there. I don't care if they're watching it right now because they know the truth. And when I was on that border and I had 3,000 soldiers under me and one of those generals came to me and said, "You got to quit doing informed consents, Doc. It's not about the science. It's about the policy." Well, sir, that's where I have to say that there's an Army regulation, 40-562, blah, blah, blah. If it's an EUA, I can't give the shots. I'm not turning this into a COVID thing, but I'm just teaching you about unconventional warfare and how it works. And he said, well, that doesn't matter. You're still going to quit doing informed consents or we'll find somebody else to take this job down here. I got 3,000 soldiers that love me and want me to be down there because they know that I don't just come around as a doctor. I come around as a Green Beret and I teach them stuff in the middle of the night on that border, 1,240-something miles of border on that border with the Rio Grande. 12,000-something people coming across a week. Now it's 3 times as much. Don't mean to scare you. And I said, "Sir, that's an unlawful order." And when a lieutenant colonel tells a 2-star general that's an unlawful order in front of a 1-star and another colonel, that's a tough day. But you know what? Unlawful orders, you know what they result in? If you follow an unlawful order, My Lai, Vietnam, those soldiers were not out of control until their commander made them out of control. Somebody needed to stand up and say, "That's an unlawful order, sir." And I understand the fog of war, and there are terrible things that happen, and I pray that we never see that in this country. But there are people like me. They ask, there's the other question, who's the white hats? Well, this one's black. I do have a white one. It's supposed to be after Easter we wear it, but it's just... This is my 100X. I don't hardly ever get to wear it. Okay. Where are the white hats? We're the white hats. Where's the plan? He's got the plan. I don't know how many times, this is amazing, meeting these people, meeting all of you is amazing. I don't know how many times I have said with my buddies or somewhere in trying to figure all this out, how come we're all here? How did this happen? How do we find each other? You know, in World War II, and on June 6, 1944, when they went on the shores of Normandy, 12 hours, 14 hours before that, guys were jumping out of airplanes, guys like me that don't have a lot of sense, and they were jumping out of airplanes in the middle of the night. And while flak was going up against those planes, those DC-9s, and they're just bumping into each other and crashing into the ground and burning, and they're jumping out of those burning planes to get on the ground, you know what happened? Those little groups of paratroopers, because they were scattered all over, 82nd over here, 101st over here, they were mixed and intermingled, Rangers coming ashore on the beach, you got the OSS guys running around out, and the Pathfinders that were on the ground the day before. We didn't know who anybody was. I wasn't there. I'm not that old. Historically, they did not know. The fog of war, the most dangerous thing in combat, other than face-to-face, is a link up between 2 friendly forces. The most dangerous place in the middle of the night when you don't have comms. You can't speak to them. So now you got these little clackers, clack, 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 okay, link up. You all are the little groups of paratroopers, because guess what? You're a remnant, you're alone, you're unafraid, you're telling the truth. I'm down there on the border by myself. 3 American doctors in the United States inventory were whistleblowers out of how many? Why are the rest of those cowards hiding? Don't understand it. There's a Hippocratic oath, there's Army regulations, there's legal, moral, and ethical. What are we missing here? They're missing this. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. It's a fact. Well, you call it like it is, and that's what I saw. And when I saw some of those other doctors and they would walk down the hill like this, look away from me. When I walked on the Capitol Hill, when the NDAAs, the last 2, and I walked down the Longworth building, the Hart building, and I'd pop into places where I used to be able to walk in, they all knew me, because I used to go up there and brief the Speaker of the House once in a while. And they would say, and I would say, what Louis Gohmert told me to ask him, did you by any chance invest in Pfizer or Moderna before COVID was a thing? I know this is televised or whatever, and probably somebody be uncomfortable that knows me up in the hill. I don't care, because the truth will set you free. You can pivot off of that. You can pivot off of it. We call it in this business repentance, but I couldn't say that up there in that cloakroom between where they all talk and stuff. Couldn't say repent, but I could say pivot. Hey, look, Congressman, Senator, please just pivot off of this. We need to pull these mandates off the military. Your country is under attack on both sides, in the middle, all right? Now, I like fighting that way because you always know where the enemy is when you're surrounded, but I don't like it when I can't see the enemy, okay? When you can't see the enemy and they're amongst us, scary place. Principalities, rulers of darkness. Said it in the beginning. Now, this was my talk earlier. I didn't look at it yet, but I sat there and prayed, and I spoke to some select folks on here. I said, you know, it's kind of nice to bat last because you know what's been out there already, right? You know what's been out there, and you can follow their lead. So it makes it easy. So the last thing I'm going to do tonight, because I know you're ready to get out of here, and so am I, is I'm going to do like a good jump master does. You have been enlisted in the Gideon's 300 Army. Is this correct or not correct? Okay. This man right here put it all together. Thank you. And Gideon, my nickname in the Army was 301. And you know why? Because there was 300 Spartans that were at Thermopylae. But in Texas, we have a flag that says, come and take it. And that's taken from what Leonidas said in 40 BC when the 300 Spartans faced hundreds of thousands of Persians. And he said, give us your weapons, we'll let you go. Xerxes said to Leonidas, he said, come and take it. On that flag in Texas, a Gonzales flag, it says, come and take it. That's where we're at. We might die broke, this physical body broke. We might give up everything, but we will gain everything. Right? That's where we're at. God bless you. God bless you all. Listen, as a good jump master, it's my job to stand at the door of this plane, and you're about to go out on June 6, 1944, behind enemy lines. June 5th, we'll call it. And it's my job to move you out that door, but you have to understand one thing. Once you're out that door, there's no popping back up, okay? Because you're 100% committed when you jump out of a plane. I promise you that. Now, every once in a while, they have this thing where your line gets hung up and you kind of hang on the edge of the plane and bounce into it. We're not talking about that, okay? We're going out that door, and we are little groups of paratroopers when we hit the ground, but now we are a great group, correct? Let's give it up for Glenn Beck because, right here, and I'll explain it, please. He confirmed for me that we were in the right place, right time with the right equipment. And you know how he confirmed it? Because of what he said, I knew that I was in the right place because the little group of paratrooper that I linked up before I came here is Robert and Jamie and Mr. Ford, President Ford, Republic of Texas. So this is a beautiful thing we're a part of. But understand it comes with a cost. And the cost can be dear. I don't want to say what the military did to me. I went from Golden Child, Green Beret Doctor, one of 5 in the military inventory, to persona non grata in about 2 weeks. And it's okay. My troops love me. The truth, it set me free. It set them free. Roger that. Okay, God bless you. I love every one of you, and we'll see you in Texas. Please come see us.